Welcome to Just Facts Academy. In this video series, we show you how to become a skilled researcher by using our standards of credibility, a simple but extremely effective system for conducting quality research. In today's lesson, we discuss the first standard, comprehensiveness. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's incredibly important and unfortunately often overlooked. So let's focus in, define this standard, examine a real-world example of why it's so important, and learn how to use it in our own research. Comprehensiveness. This 29-point Scrabble word means a complete picture or all the crucial facts. Sounds simple enough, but if we're honest, I'm sure most of us are guilty of not applying this standard at some point. The truth is, it's very easy to distort reality by selecting facts or just part of the truth that aligns with certain views while you ignore or downplay other parts. Whether intentionally or not, politicians and media outlets do this all too often. For example, let's look at the climate change issue and see how both sides have gotten it wrong. That's right, both sides. Some have claimed that climate change is a farce, and they've said things like, temperatures haven't risen since 1997. Now, when you look at the data, you see that temperatures did spike in 97, so the statement was true when it was made in 2020, but it was also misleading. The fact is, the Earth's average temperature had increased by about 0.7 to 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit since the 1980s. This trend suggests warming, but clearly annual averages fluctuate from year to year. Singling out a year does not prove or disprove a trend. And with these constant fluctuations, this 40-year time frame is not enough to prove or disprove much either. On the other hand, some have claimed that evidence for abnormal climate change is overwhelming. And they pointed to graphs like this one and made statements like, considering the last millennium, the 20th century was unusually warm. This graph is hard to argue with. It seems clear, but does it reflect the whole truth? A comprehensive look at all the data surrounding this WMO report reveals that the trend lines were cherry-picked and spliced together. But if you look at the non-spliced coincident data, the trend isn't so clear, if there even is a trend. It's called the spaghetti graph for a reason. Can you see the importance of comprehensiveness? These climate change findings influence the decisions of people, companies, and entire nations. We must have comprehensive data to make the best choices possible. So, how can you be comprehensive in your research? First and foremost, don't let your bias or prejudices get in the way. We all have personal viewpoints, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong if we blindly accept anything that appeals to our opinions and dismiss anything that challenges them. That's a recipe for self-delusion. So make sure you understand the most compelling evidence on all sides of an issue, not just your side. Secondly, you have to put in the work. Use an array of credible primary sources to make sure that you get all of the relevant facts. Don't settle for secondary sources, the first few Google results, or your favorite news outlet. If two credible sources provide conflicting data, start digging. Did you know that the US Census Bureau has 17 definitions of income? And other government agencies use different measures. Some of these measures show dissimilar trends over time. And if you don't understand exactly what these data sets actually measure, your research can be completely wrong. Things aren't always as cut and dry as they seem at first glance. So when we research, it's important to understand the points, counterpoints, and limitations. So, being comprehensive boils down to two basic principles. Be intellectually honest and work hard to find all of the relevant facts. This will empower you to understand the whole truth, because half the truth can amount to a total lie. You don't have to be an Einstein to do any of this. You just need to make the effort and use the comprehensiveness standard so you can research like a genius.